may be seated unless you are Nancy, because Nancy is going to share some wonderful things about Linda, followed by Rachel.
Shabbat Shalom. Yeah, you look great in your chair. Well, I am very honored to have been asked to speak tonight. I've known Linda for many years. She is kind and devoted to her family. She is resilient and tireless in both taking care of her family and dealing with the challenges of Nosh and Knowledge. After Barry left, there was a void in the program. Linda jumped in and saved it. For years now, we have had wonderful programming, from speakers to movies. The topics have been so varied, and all of us that come on Monday mornings have learned so much. We are so appreciative of her hard work and efforts to keep this program going, and so successfully. And she makes sure we have the Nosh as well as the knowledge. Linda is also devoted to the entirety of adult ed in the synagogue. She chaired the Adult Education Committee for years, a very difficult job, as I can tell you, finding and organizing programs, including our Mark A. Siegel Speaker Series. I hope that all of you have attended some of these or will in the future. She continues to serve on the committee, offering suggestions and filling in on the various jobs as needed. I also appreciate her for attending for years the Sisterhood Torah discussions. She always has great insights to any of the readings we cover. She also gives us an additional insight into our discussions from her point of view as an author. Linda deserves this honor of Volunteer of the Month. She's an awesome volunteer, and I'm grateful for her work and to be counted among her friends. Congratulations, Linda.
Thank you, Nancy.
When I first met Linda in 2026, I believe, she was cast in the awkward role of my friend Deborah's mom, which meant that I didn't really pay much attention to her other than making sure I was polite when I went to her house to see Deborah. As the years progressed, I got to know her a bit more, both as Rena's grandma and as one of the many people I, as a young adult, saw at synagogue on a regular basis. I learned that she was the author of women's fiction, a genre I greatly appreciate. But still, throughout that time, she remained Deborah's mom in my mind. When I became Education VP in 2024, I was really excited to have the opportunity to work with Deborah's mom as Adult Education Chair. So I knew that she had been doing amazing work as Adult Ed Chair and with Nosh and Knowledge, and I was looking forward to getting to know her better as we worked together. In the time that we have worked together on Adult Ed projects over the past 2 years, I've had the opportunity to see Linda's love of education in action. In particular, she has endeavored and succeeded not only in bringing a wide variety of topics to CBT Adult Ed audiences, but also in helping congregants recognize that they have value, not only as learners, but as teachers as well. 5 years ago, Nosh and Knowledge was a weekly education series primarily prepared and delivered by a paid staff member. This year and last, with the exception of a few classes taught by our rabbi, Nosh and Knowledge has been completely volunteer taught, with participants learning from one another and sharing topics that interest them personally. Scheduling volunteer instructors is no easy feat. And Linda has managed to do it almost 100 times in the past 3 years, if you add that up, right? Just with working with Nosh. If that was all she had done, Dayenu, it would have been enough to deserve recognition at this volunteer Shabbat, but she didn't stop there. Though she stepped back from the chair role this past year to focus exclusively on Nosh, Linda continued to support our wider adult education by helping with marketing and adult ed events, reviewing publications, and helping launch our new program, Nosh at Night, which we hope will bring the fun and excitement of Nosh and Knowledge to a population of members who can't come on a Monday morning for learning sessions during work hours. Throughout our time working together, Linda has been patient and understanding with my personal chaos, even when it has made her life very difficult. And for that, I am so appreciative. I have also respected her self-awareness as we explored how we best balanced and complemented one another in our entwined roles in education over the past couple years. I am honestly continuously awed by Linda's ability to organize things in advance and keep them on track, even over the long term. Maybe that's not so impressive to everyone, but to me, I think that's hard. So I really appreciate that she can do that. She has so frequently saved my tush with her ability to remember deadlines and plan ahead to meet them. And I've loved having her as a confidant and a sounding board as we've navigated challenges in our leadership roles over the past years. Over the past couple years, I am very pleased to report that Linda has graduated from Deborah's mom status. I am honored to be here tonight to celebrate the volunteer contributions of Linda Steinberg, my colleague, and my friend. Kol hakavod, you deserve all the honors.
Thank you, Rachel. Linda, would you like to say something? It's wonderful to honor you.
I feel like Sally Field. Oh, good. Y'all are old enough to get the reference. So, when one is about to embark on a new exercise program, you got to think about things, consider, what is it that you want to do? Are you going to choose something that is good for your heart or your lungs or build muscle mass? But the experts will tell you that the best exercise program for you is one that you will enjoy doing. Because if you enjoy it, you'll stick to it and not drop out after the first few weeks. So what does this have to do with volunteering? Doing what you enjoy. I was not born with the helper gene. I was retired for 6 years before I entered into any kind of regular commitment as volunteer. Did I feel guilty about it? Of course. But I just couldn't see myself working in the food pantry or doing some other physical labor that pretty much anybody else could do, and most people could do it better than me. I'm a klutz. I would have dropped something on my foot for sure. But then finally, I discovered a program now known as Literacy Achieves. I wanted to do something where my skills could help make a difference, where there was something that I could actually contribute. So this program, Literacy Achieves, they teach English to non-English speaking adults. And it was a perfect fit for me because as a writer, I love the English language, and I'd been a teacher in my past life, so that just all seemed to come together. What was different, though, about teaching adults was that they were there because they wanted to be. I had taught, well, my first year of teaching was in a little 3-room schoolhouse in rural Tennessee, and that was a fun and challenging experience. But then I was teaching in the inner city in Houston, and that was not as much fun. Those kids did not want to be there, and neither did I. So when I, years later, went into teaching adults, it was a great experience to teach people who actually wanted to learn. And most of my students were Hispanic. Most of them were housewives, and many of them had been in this country for many years. I had one student who'd been in this country for 25 years and hadn't bothered to learn English. And I taught for 6 years, 12 semesters, and every semester I would ask my class on the first day, I don't know Spanish, but I would say, ¿por qué ahora? Why now? Why are you all of a sudden deciding to learn English now? I had a few different answers, but mostly the answers were because my children are in school and they are learning English, and I want to be able to help them with their homework. So these people had seen no need to learn English until this time because they were good mothers and they wanted to be able to help their children. So there are many motivations for learning, but I think there's one universal motivation for teaching. And some of you here are teachers or former teachers, you know what I'm talking about. When you see that spark light up in a student's eyes, and you know they got it, or they ask a question, and you know they're into it, they're learning. So this is a really fulfilling experience. So when I was asked to serve on the Beth Torah board as a member at large, and was told I had to serve on a committee, it was a no-brainer. I immediately signed up to work on adult education, because that's what I do. I already was attending lots of adult education classes here, including Nosh and Knowledge. So in the years I've been on the committee, adult education has had a few challenges. The first was COVID, and we managed, like every other program at CBT, we pivoted to go to Zoom, for which I wish I had bought stock in it, but we stayed on Zoom. And then the second challenge, when we were just coming out of the pandemic and getting started, we lost our education director, who also happened to teach most of the classes in the adult education. So a lot of those classes just went. But Rabbi Zeleny, who was our rabbi at that time, was determined that she was going to save Nosh and Knowledge. And she asked for help from the Adult Education Committee. Never having served in the military, and therefore not knowing any better, I volunteered. So Rabbi Z gave me the names of some people, members of our congregation, who had volunteered to teach some classes, people who had special talents or knowledge of things that they could teach classes about. And I went and searched and found some others. And I learned two things. One thing was we have a lot of knowledgeable and talented people in this congregation. And the other thing was that I started hunting up people, and people would tell me, oh, this one knows this or this one knows that, and I started seeking out people. Now, those of you who know me probably are going to find this hard to believe, but I'm an introvert. It was not easy for me to introduce myself to people I did not know and say, I know you, I've heard you do this, or you know this, or this is your story, and ask them to speak to the class. But I did it And in that way, I made a lot more friends in this congregation. I met a lot of people. And since I've done that, in the 4 years I've been managing this class, I'm very proud to say that Nosh and Knowledge not only survived, but thrived. I wasn't born with the humility gene either. But at this point, people will say, well, you know, I didn't do it alone, which I didn't, and this couldn't have happened without blah, blah, blah. But this class literally could not have happened without all the other volunteers who have taught classes in the last few years. 28 people have taught one or more classes for this Monday morning class, and almost all of them, without exception, are members of this congregation and did it for free. I'm not going to name them all, but I do want to express my appreciation for a few of the people who've taught multiple classes over multiple years, and that would be Seth Miller, John Wills, Rabbi Sidney, Rabbi Feivel, and Rabbi Jordan Parr. I'm putting you on notice to be thinking about what you want to teach next year, because I'll be coming to ask you. Since that's the knowledge part, there's also Nosh, and I want to thank Abigail Mindel and the other people from Monday Morning Minyan and Rabbi's class who have helped provide food. Some mornings I come in, I'm rushed, I'm hurried, and there's the food already set out on trays for us. I really appreciate y'all's help. And I definitely have to also thank and appreciate Katie Babin, without whom literally we would not have had some classes. She has literally saved my class more than once by doing whatever technology magic she does. And sometimes she just walks into the room and then all of a sudden things start working. So I know I've talked a lot already. I just want to end with one thing, talking about volunteering. If you are thinking about volunteering, and you should consider doing something where you should evaluate your particular strengths and think of something where you can use your strengths and that you will enjoy. I want to quote from the Amen Effect, which we were studying in the rabbi's class. Don't ask yourself what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive, and then go and do that. Because what the world needs is people who come alive. Thank you so much for this honor. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Linda. If you haven't been to Nosh and Knowledge on Monday mornings, find a way to make it work in your schedule. It is one of the most incredible groups of learners. Yes, the teachers are incredible, but really it's one of the most incredible groups of learners you can be in. They're passionate, they ask really hard questions, and they know that their learning matters in the world that they live in. A lot of you are here now, but if you haven't been there, Monday mornings, if you haven't been here, Monday mornings in the library, 10 a.m. Nosh, 10:30 a.m. Knowledge, please join. Or come to Nosh at night.
Last Wednesday of every month, 6:30 Nosh, adult beverages, 7:30 class, and on April 29th, Rabbi Parr will be talking about the rabbis made the rivers run back.
Okay, so, all right, I don't know if, is it on here? My memory is not the best. So let me see if I can get this right. So it is the last Wednesday, third Wednesday, the last Wednesday of every month, 6:30 Nosh and drinks, and 7 o'clock Knowledge. Our April Nosh at night is going to be Rabbi Jordan Parr, who's going to be teaching The Rivers Run Backwards, which is a classic rabbinic text, and every teacher teaches it a little differently, so it'll be fun to hear what Rabbi Parr does. April 29th. Thank you.